In this presentation, I will describe two different examples of how research is being communicated to the teaching community. I will highlight the similarities and differences in the two examples and their potential entailments in terms of empowering teachers in their practice. But first of all, what do teachers and school leaders think about research evidence? There was a survey conducted in Australia last year about this. The majority of respondents believed that using research would improve student outcomes. A third said they did not know where to find relevant research, and a similar proportion reported that they didn't feel confident to analyze and interpret research. And 44% did not feel confident to judge the quality of research. These responses suggest that there is a lot of demand for research to improve school practice, but there are lots of barriers to translating research into practice. In 2017 in Victoria, our Department of Education has actually released a set of research-based guidelines that provide accessible, succinct, and bite-sized information that aim to build teachers' expertise in using high-impact evidence-based strategies in their teaching, the HITS. The guidelines outline the things that teachers can do that can reliably increase student learning wherever they are applied. On the internet, if you search for the term, you will find a range of information from the Education Department about the HITS. Schools that talk about how they are using HITS, or private organizations that teach teachers how to use the HITS. Even our colleagues in mathematics education feel the need to justify that what they have been promoting in terms of the use of challenging tasks fit with the HITS. So the HITS answer all the demands of research practice translation indicated in the Monash survey, right? There are criticisms about the implementation of the HITS guidelines, as well as the research evidence from which the guidelines drew from. Now, I want to contrast the HITS with a different example. Wiliam wrote a book 5 years ago about how school leaders can help to promote teacher learning, particularly in the use of classroom formative assessment. The book draws from a range of research that Wiliam has been involved in or came across himself over the years. But the way that he communicated the research is quite different from the HITS. Wiliam emphasized the uncertainty and evolving nature of research evidence, and that teaching is about weighing costs with benefits. When you implement something, you may have to let go of something else. It is interesting how there are lots of similarities in the HITS and Wiliam's book. Both were trying to use research evidence to promote teacher change, to galvanize professional learning communities, and they emphasized teacher judgment. But there are also differences. The HITS appear to present research evidence as reliable and stable. It does talk about the strategies being fallible, but there's a lot of emphasis about them being proven to be effective based on research. On the other hand, Wiliam's message emphasizes research evidence as evolving and indicative, and he tried to show his understanding of the constraints and pressures that teachers are being placed under by framing changing teaching practice in terms of weighing cost with benefits. So what I'm trying to show here is that there are different ways to communicate research to the teaching community. How research is being positioned and promoted can reflect different assumptions about the status and permanence of research evidence and how teachers relate their knowledge and practice to the research evidence. As researchers, we need to be cognizant of how we are communicating our research and the effects of our communication in empowering or disempowering teachers. Whether one way empowers teachers more than the other could depend on the teacher. Whether the teacher wants to have some quick proven to work strategies for their day-to-day classroom teaching, or being told that they themselves are responsible for deciding what they need to improve on in their practice and make changes accordingly. I will finish with some reflection questions for the workshop participants. What is your research message to the teaching community? How are you positioning your research to the teaching community? Thank you for listening, and feel free to send me your thoughts and comments.